Hey there, guys. DJ Slope here from Slope's Game Room, but you all know that because you're patrons and YouTube members and what have you. Obviously, got to start the video off by saying a big thank you to all of you guys for supporting. I'm out of breath, and all I've done is sit down and talk. Time for a lifestyle change, I think. Yeah, so I should have got this video out to you yesterday, but I was up throughout the night trying to sort out title cards basically for it. Whatever. If you're not a part of my Discord, go get the links to be able to do that. You should already be a part of the Discord anyway, but you always get them. It's always over there, just like literally as it's finished, I put it in there, and then I get it all ready to show you guys. So yeah, the first big video of the week that you guys are going to be able to see. Actually, it's the only video you're going to be able to see. It's the next Kick Scammer news, a little bit later on in the month than I like, but it's a good one, and I've changed the format. It's this here, Kick Scammer news for December 2019. Got a bit crazy with that title card. It took me bloody ages to do that title card. So yeah, I've changed up the format ever so slightly. Normally I only show about 10 or 11 campaigns, and there was a big segment like introducing each one, but the segment would just say campaign 1, campaign 2. So I'm trying to cut little things like that out just to try and heavy hit the flow. I'm not introducing it really anymore. The video starts instantly talking about some good things that happen throughout the month. Those things that happen in the month that don't have dates. So for instance, people throughout the month of December have been receiving, things like that. So what's it called? It's so early in the morning. I basically have a free-flowing intro, but it starts off straight away, and then I introduce myself after I've talked about a couple of the projects. So let me know what you think of the new style of that show. There's a lot more in it for roughly about the same amount of time, so I think it works. I might change up the style of the transitions between the dates. I'm not too sure about them, but overall, I'm pretty happy with it. So yeah, that's the big video this week that's coming out. I might release that on Wednesday or the weekend. I'm not 100% sure yet, because I am working on another video. Well, today I'm going to be working on it. As soon as I've finished it, I'll put it up for you guys, community tab or on Patreon. Just, keep an eye out for it as and when. But this is my smaller video of the week. A bit of a silly one, but I'm quite excited for it, actually. Is this 5 rude games for Nintendo Switch made for perverts? It's just a silly game. I found when I find articles on things, I normally save them in files until they would actually work together to make like a top 5, whatever. That's what this is basically. I found 5 really obscure, mostly Japanese, weird games for Nintendo Switch. The old Nintendo wouldn't like, but new Nintendo seemed to be okay with. But there you go. So yeah, you got that coming up, and then finally we should talk about this. The limited quantity games are limited quantity games a good thing? So this is a conversational topic that I'm having with patrons and YouTube members of a certain tier and up. So have a look at that. I can't remember exactly what bracket it is, but yeah, basically. Going to be inviting a couple of other YouTubers into that chat, hopefully, and probably get like 4 or 5 patrons and YouTube members if there are that many that want to talk about this. Yeah, we're talking about things like limited run games, talking about things like play exclusives, special reserve games, super rare games, all these sort of companies, and asking if they're a good thing that they're around. Is it a good thing for anything really, for collectors, for people that just want to play the game normally, all that sort of stuff. So I think it's quite an interesting topic, and I think it's going to be one that even the other YouTubers that I speak to, we don't agree on it. So I think that sort of thing creates interesting topics. So yeah, that's going to be the thing we're going to be talking about, and that goes, well, I want to record that. It's got to be a weekend because I've got a lot of American supporters, so time zone differences. So I was thinking for let me make sure I'm getting this right. Yeah, so I'm thinking about 8 o'clock roughly. Might start about 8:30, but about 8 o'clock roughly on this Saturday coming. Okay, so if you're interested, you want to do that, there we go. Hook me up, send me a message, You've obviously, if you're on my if you're on my Discord, you can send me a DM, whatever you want. Chuck me a message, and yeah, we will definitely get to that thing and get you involved. And obviously, if there isn't already too many people in there, get your name down, all that sort of stuff. About 8 p.m. roughly on Saturday. If you've got some interesting stuff to talk about and opinion pieces, whatever, it doesn't matter if we don't agree. In fact, I almost encourage it. It'll make for better video if we don't agree. So yeah, feel free to come along. And finally, this week's live stream, I haven't made a title card for it yet, but it will include my wife. Yes, Mr. and Mrs. Slope will be sitting in front of the computer. I've done this a couple of times before, many years ago. But it was just it's like a joke thing, basically, where we basically. She's not a gamer by any stretch of the imagination. You know, Mario Kart, obviously, Mario Party, obviously. You know, like silly, fun games like that, which are great for everybody. But she doesn't really play games like, you know, me and probably you. So it's quite fun to sit down and try and explain to her what, you know, Dizzy is and things like that. So I don't think it's going to be themed around a particular game. Just people shout out games, and me and my wife play them, and end up a bit of a Q&A and what it's like for me and my wife. You know. So yeah. And that's what's coming up for the week. Yeah. So obviously, like I said, thank you all so much for supporting me. But actually, I'll tell you what, before I go, I've just had a mental package arrive. I might as well show it to you guys. Eh? Yeah, a little bit of an exclusive for you. So basically, yeah, I've been accumulating points and all these other things over on PlayAsia. Put a bit of money down myself and all that. And I basically didn't buy anything from them for like 4 months or something ridiculous like that, and yeah, so I've decided that I'd accumulate them all together, and now I've got an absurd amount of Switch games just arrived through the post. Starting off with Valfaris, which is a game I actually already own on the Switch as well, because I didn't realise there was a limited edition of this game, and I was really impressed with this game when I played it at a show. So even though I got this version, I've got the limited edition version. So I'm probably I think my cousin really likes it. I'll probably end up giving this to my cousin. But yeah, there you go. There you go. Oh, 18. Should I be the cool uncle? Cousin, nephew. I meant nephew. So yeah, that's the first one. Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. Very excited to play this. Team 17 game, more of a 2D platformer on the or 2.5D platformer on the using the Yooka-Laylee license. So that's cool. That's cool. Let's move these over here. Mario Party. I'm not hearing the greatest things about it. My son is so up for me getting this game. Like, have you got Mario Party? Have you got Mario Party yet? So, Mario Party, Super Mario Party. Already had this, but I absolutely loved it. And when I say I already had it, I had it on the Wii U. And I adore my Switch, so now I get to play it on this system, on the Switch. I already had it on the Wii U, and now I've got it on the Switch. It's early. I've had my coffee. I wish there was more coffee in my Sega mug. Katamari Damacy Reroll, a game that I like, very much like, and I knew I had to get this at some point, so here it is. What else have I got? One of my all-time favourite classic arcade games. I absolutely love this game. Well, the original Burger Time, obviously. So, yeah, I was all over this, 100%. Really interested to see how this one plays. What's different about it? You know, that sort of thing. I haven't looked into it at all, but very excited about that. If anyone knows me. I love me some Disney games. So, Tsum Festival. This is essentially like a kiddified Mario Party, but the real main feature of the game is playing. Ooh, I don't know if you can see. Move it that way. That version of the game with those little dots. Yeah, that. It's basically the same game I've got for my phone, where you basically just have to quickly match them really quickly with your fingers. Stupidly addictive, and the main reason is, other than the fact that I generally do want to play the game. When you play it on your phone, if you do okay, it says, do you want to spend money to give yourself 5 more seconds? Oh, he's clicked that button, and I'm like, stop, so many times. I'm so scared to let him play a game like this on my phone, so now he can play this version. I'm talking about my son, obviously. There you go. I've got Unravel 2. Not played it, but I played the first one. Very much enjoyed it. So, yep, I was all over that. Definitely. You know me, I like my artistic platformer type games. Rad Rogers. Radical edition. Radical. That's relevant, isn't it? Looks incredible. I believe it was a Kickstarter, actually, to begin with. But yeah, I think this looks pretty cool. So I've got this. Very nice, very nice. I'll show you this one. This is a weird one. So this, I can't remember the proper name of it. Something Arcade and Pengu. So that's the name of the game. It's a really long, obscure name. This is so strange. So I might end up doing a video on this, because this started its life as an Xbox 360 Live arcade game. I just realised, is my mic recording? Yellow. Hello. Yes, it is. So this started its life as an Xbox 360 Live arcade game, but only in Japan, I believe. I believe like a portion of it may have come out in America, but I'll look into it when I do the video. The idea is these are almost like Bishi Bashi-esque arcade games, you know, games that, you know, you have to wiggle really fast and you do all that sort of stuff, but they're designed to help you get better at playing arcade games. So there's like shmup games, there's like a shmup level where you have to, there's like certain levels where you have to just do really well at maneuvering, and then there'll be other ones where you have to do really well at shooting. There'll be ones where you have to get really fast if you tap in and all that. So the idea is you get better at playing arcade games. I just found that so obscure and interesting. And then just randomly on the end, plus Pengu. There you go. Plus Pengu. It's a classic, I believe, arcade originally, but I played it on maybe the Master System. I'll have to look into it. But yeah, it's just a classic like almost like Dig Dug type game that was a Sega game, and I was just like, how obscure is this title? It really fascinated me. I like collecting retro collections, and this is the only way to get Pengu on the Switch. Not that anyone was really asking for it, but it's just fascinating to me. There you go. I might do a video about that one day. It's like one of those sort of mini midweek video things. So I've got that. Gigantic Army. I don't really know anything about it except for the fact that this is like an HD version of another game called Gigantic Army. Now, the really confusing thing about this is I put this up on the group, a Play Asia Discord group, and said, look, when's this coming through? Because they said it'd be coming in December. It was like mid-December, and they still said coming December. I'm like, when's this coming? They replied, oh, it's coming out on the 24th of December. Like, oh, great, I'm not getting any of my games before Christmas then. But the weird thing is, they said, it's because they're importing it from, this is what someone said, it wasn't Play Asia themselves, it's because they're importing it from Europe, and it's like a cheap budget game in Europe. And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, I could have just got it in Europe. Like, this is where I'm from, in the UK. And they said, yeah, there's nothing exclusive about this to Play Asia, because Play Asia have got it all over their website, only 1,500 copies, all that sort of stuff. And I'm like, it seems really weird. And apparently it's only because it's a Europe exclusive. Well, that's bullshit, because on the back, there's a nice big fat Play Asia sticker. How strange. Did they buy this game from Europe, take out the sleeve, put a sticker on it, and then put it back in and then send it to me? I can't believe they did, because it had all cellophane on before I ripped it off. Very odd, very odd. But I'm interested in seeing it. It's like a mech sort of 2D shooter game on a 2D platformy plane. Got a bit of a flash art style, which I'm not the greatest fan of, but it seems interesting enough, and it wasn't that expensive, so I thought I'd try that one out. Then we've got another series of collection of classic games, which I know nothing about, which I'm very interested in. But in Japan, there's a series called Ninja Jajamaru. We're talking old classic NES games. I believe there was arcade ones in there as well. There's quite a few games in the series. And they play, from what I can tell, I mean, there were spin-offs, there was like RPG ones, there was like platformy ones, but the main series play a bit like the original Mario Brothers, you know, where you have to jump up onto the levels and like hit the Goombas and stuff, you know, and like make them flip upside down and all that sort of stuff. So it plays a little bit like that, or Flicky, I suppose. But massive deal in Japan, and the rest of the world is almost just doesn't even know it exists. Yeah, this is a collection. I don't think it's all of the games, but the majority of the games. It's always, isn't it, a kick in the nuts when you buy these? And it's just a selection of ROMs on a cartridge, but they've missed one. And it's just like, oh, come on, that could have been the whole collection. I believe there's one's missing. But, I mean, considering I didn't even fucking know what this is, really, except for looking up videos and thinking, oh, it looks cool. Yeah, I'm alright with that. So I'm quite excited to try that out. And then finally, you got the big one. The big one. There's the little pamphlet thing that came with it. And I don't even know if I'm saying the game right. Ugh, this bad boy, which is very nice. Esperade D. Esperade. So this is proper cool. So this, in case you guys don't know, is there any imagery on there? Is there any imagery on there? No, there's not. Okay, I can turn it around. There you go. So I bought it for my guys right there, M2. So if you don't know, M2 are a company that basically are the kings of emulation. Absolute, the best people for emulation. If a company want their game brought out for a new system, if they can get hold of M2 to do it, they're going to make their old version absolutely non-existent. They do so much to games when they emulate them, and they just make the originals just crap almost, because they add features, they clean up, they make sure it's like absolutely perfect. And in a few instances, they've sort of not got there, but most of the time they're on the money, big time. And being that they're Japanese developers, they're obsessed with the classic arcade days, and shmups are huge in Japan. And here we go, the M2 Shot Trigger series, Shot Triggers, is a series that they've been working on, where they basically just take one classic shmup game in Japan. Most of the world might not really know too much about it, and they basically just do what they can to make the ultimate version of that shmup. And this is the ultimate version of a shmup called Esperade. And honestly, I don't know too much about it, but I know that M2 don't put their hands to crap products. So yeah, I mean, I can show you what's inside, but yeah, I might as well. Why not? So let's open this up. This is probably the last time I open this up, unless someone asks to see it. There we go. It's essentially a little bit of a guide. Now, I've read some of this. I wasn't expecting to get this, because this is supposed to be an Amazon exclusive, from what I understand, because Amazon do a lot of exclusives. Amazon Japan, when you pre-order games, you get a lot of like exclusive stuff, and I believe that was the Amazon exclusive. So I wasn't expecting to get that, but hey, maybe I was wrong. So that's like sort of like there isn't many pages, like a 5-6 page guide to like each level. It's not that long of a game. So you got that. Then you've got don't want to ruin the box, damage the box. Then you've got sort of like one of those instruction cards. I think that basically these are the type of things that you would get around the arcade itself. You know, like instructions, a little bit of info about the game, whatever. So you got that one, and then again the same here. You know, what your shots do and all that sort of stuff. So there's that. Stickers, which I will obviously never ever use. They can stay there in their box. Bit cheeky. This collection was like $100 or something ridiculous, and then they give you an advert to buy. I believe it's like a remix CD. Naughty. Massive book. I knew this come with like some kind of like art booky type thing, but look at the thickness of that. All fully coloured up, loads and loads of artwork. It's crazy, isn't it? Like games that you didn't really know too much about, have an insane like development, all that sort of thing. So yeah, it's cool. There's the game itself, and there's the main soundtrack itself. So I don't know what that other soundtrack is. Like I said, it says remixes at the bottom, so I'm guessing it's a remix CD. Yeah, it's cool. So yeah, they're my pickups. I actually did get. I'm not going to go get it, but you see that that yellow and blue one right there? That's a Mega Man collection that I recently picked up. Again, was it off PlayAsia? I can't remember. But yeah, I got that. And that's got basically 5 classic collections of Mega Man games. So you got Classics Collection 1, which are the classic NES ones. Classics Collection 2, which are those ones that they made for like Xbox Live, but were made to be like the original. So that's 6 through 10. Then you had X, X2. So there's 4 of them. Oh, and Mega Man 11. And it has space to add the final collection that they're going to do, which is the Z. Is it the XZ or ZX? it seems weird saying ZX because I'm thinking ZX Spectrum, but yeah, the Game Boy Advance games basically. I believe it's the Game Boy Advance, but yeah, which I'll eventually get because I like getting classic collection games, like I said. So yeah, that's what I've been getting. That's what I've been working on. Right now, I'm going to be setting up the camera. Well, actually, I need to be charging the batteries and stuff. Doing lots of boring stuff for a Monday, you know, like messaging a couple of sponsors and stuff and showing them what I've been working on. Like I show you guys, so let's see if they're happy with the videos. You guys ain't got to worry about any of that because you're supporters of the show. You get it all early and without sponsorship ads and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah. That ain't a bad selection of new games, is it? Plus the big one. So yeah, that's what's been going on. And other than that, there's been loads of drama with a guy called Radical Rick this week, which basically doesn't like my channel because I've got a Patreon. Actually, no, that's a complete lie. He does like my channel, but he doesn't like the fact that I've got a Patreon, which is fine. I don't care. Like, you know, if you don't like it, don't become a Patreon. I don't have to fucking convince you guys you are Patreons. What else do I say? What else do I need to say? Blah, 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 blah. That's probably it. That's probably it. So yeah, I am now going to, like I say, do sponsorship stuff. I'm going to start working on the not complete history, 5 rude games for Nintendo Switch made for perverts. I've actually got to finish off the last segment of that because it's like a top 5, but I've done 3 or 4. I think it's 3 or 4 of them I've written down. I know what they all are. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do now. I've rambled for a long time. Thank you all so much for supporting the show, all that jazz, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.